I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Happy Thursday, guys.
Happy Thursday.
So excited to be here and talking about our favorite show, The Bold Type.
Yeah.
Craziness. I was almost scared for Richard and Sutton for a second, but I can't wait to get onto that all right after this.
Never.
Veronica, Valencia, what's going on?
It's great.
It's great.
It's a good Thursday.
Yeah, it's a good Thursday. Karla, Beltran, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I was sent home today. I'm like ready to work from home.
Hey guys, Nasta here, and we are bringing you all of the tea on The Bold Type. Overall thoughts of this episode?
It was very relationship heavy.
Yeah, very much so.
A lot of different issues.
Mm-hmm. I think this episode was a little, I'm going to use the term dry. It was kind of a little less like shocking and kind of just a little bit more dry than the previous episodes. Obviously, the previous episodes have been like very crazy and wacky and out there. This one, like you're saying, Karla, dealt a lot with relationships. And I think it also kind of took a step back from our main three girls and kind of focused on, you know, what's going on with the people that they have relationships with. You know, it's Sutton and her relationships with Oliver and Richard, as well as Pinstripe and Adena. And we kind of got to experience and see them a little bit more. I also got the idea of this episode completely wrong from my prediction from last week. So
yeah, if you guys were listening to our podcast last week, there was a prediction that, what was it? You thought that
I thought that
Pinstripe had kissed Jane's brother, and that was what he did when he cheated.
Could you imagine just how much probably the episode would be if that actually happened?
Would have been crazy. But anyways, at least that was a prediction that we can say was didn't work. So that's good. That's a good thing we can check off the list to see what is going to lead us to know what Pinstripe actually did, because he's still hiding a secret.
Girls, we're never.
Do you guys think we're actually going to find out?
I don't know.
I think when we were watching it, Allie, you brought up a good point of I think the writers just forgot. I seriously think maybe they just forgot, because it's been so long at this point and they haven't revealed it. I'm like, either they forgot or it's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
But
it probably doesn't matter. It's nothing big.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this definitely was like a bridge episode where they wanted to bridge all the information together to try to get us to, there's some sort of huge plot twist I feel like that's going to happen, and I think this was a bridge to kind of figure out where we are in everybody's lives, because I feel like this is bringing Adina and Kat back together. This is showing that Richard and Sutton can get through anything, and then Jane and Ryan, or Jane and Pinstripe, are kind of figuring out do they either want to make it or break it, you know? Mm-hmm. But with that being said, let's jump right in. So we've got Richard and Sutton that really struggling with long distance, so they decide to have a quick, fun, little, I thought it was supposed to be a weekend trip, I could have swore, but I guess it was during the week. And meanwhile, Sutton is dealing with the fact that she's got to win Oliver's trust back. Were you guys expecting this to be kind of more, did you expect Oliver to hold such a grudge towards her?
No, I was actually taken by surprise. I thought this week was going to come back and he was going to I thought we were at least going to see Oliver and just kind of have him talk to her about it, but I didn't think it was going to be the way that he's treating her right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally understand if he was still disappointed and he needed his space from her, but I totally thought we were at least going to see him and at least kind of get that idea of this is, why this hurt me so badly, Sutton, and we got nothing except from him just barking orders at her.
Yeah.
But also, I kind of like what he's doing to her in a different sense, because I think he's saying okay, so you want to be a stylist? Well, here you go. I'm going to give you all the responsibility of what it takes to really be a stylist.
That's true. Great point.
And it's she realizes okay, this just didn't work, or this didn't work. So it's this is the stress that Oliver receives whenever he receives feedback on whatever he's doing. Oh no, this photo isn't approved, So I think that it's definitely a learning lesson for her to obviously not lie to Oliver, one, but two, of are you even prepared for what you're asking for? You know?
Tough love. Mm-hmm. I think that's what he's giving her. And obviously, Sutton's been in and out of seeing Richard. They didn't really think, they thought they were going to have more time together, but they're both super busy. And I think that this was really interesting to see them both kind of realize, even if we were together in the same, both of our jobs are very demanding. We're always going to kind of have to be somewhere. And Sutton having to leave and explain that, like, she's an assistant kind of struck me for a minute about Richard. Like, Richard, you know that she's an assistant. You know that she's going to have to leave at a moment's notice, and you should be okay with that. And the fact that, like, he kind of said he wasn't for a second gave me a little bit of bad taste in my mouth. Did you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, because it's like, if you know, she has to leave at a moment's notice, but he's also kind of taking on this leap of faith for himself, where he doesn't know what the workload or how demanding it's going to be and how hands-on he has to be with it. So he could definitely have to deal with the same kind of things as Sutton, where he needs to be gone, you know, at random hours and here, there, and everywhere. And so if he is okay with that for himself, he should be okay with it for Sutton as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's just frustrating because it was like, I mean, it was a small glimpse in this episode, but it was weird how they went from like they didn't even talk about the whole planner situation, how they were going to do it. They just went to the bar, which they decided they wanted to get rid of all of their issues and just basically kind of, in a sense, elope and move to San Francisco. Do you feel like this is too much of a brash decision? I feel like Sutton is so upset because it's getting so hard. And so she's just kind of like, well, I want to give up. Like, I'm leaving it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think she's definitely making sudden moves. And she's like, oh, my astrology said that I should make sudden moves. But I don't think that's what it meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's not going to work out. And I didn't really like the dynamic on how, like, they both handled the whole situation because it's very unlike them. And I just felt like they could have handled it in a different way.
Yeah, I think that Sutton kind of this is the first obstacle she's really been in with Oliver. Like, in the beginning, it was kind of earning his trust. She earned it. And it's only been, from what I would know, to be, like, a year or two. And she's really, you know,
and she's done other things that she could have gotten in trouble with like,
right.
We always go back to like the fact that they forgot that this like influencer or whatever other character that they had, where she just like charged up all these like drugs on the company card,
right,
know?
Like there's other things that have happened, and so I find this kind of frustrating where it's like, oh, so like one bad thing happens and then you're just gonna let go of it all, which like I get it because, like, you love Richard and you want to spend time together, but this isn't the Sutton that we know. Like, this is definitely, like you said, a very rash decision, and I think she's going to regret it eventually. But, like...
She's just going to regret it before the wedding. Because she's not moving to California. We already know that.
Yeah.
The show is based in New York, and it's based on 3 women that work for this magazine. So if she were to, like... Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be definitely interesting to see how far she goes with it. Maybe it would be like a season finale cliffhanger that she does move and then decides she wants to come back.
Yeah.
But at that point, I wonder what kind of advice Oliver's going to give her, or what his approval is going to be at that point, because that could be a huge level of disappointment where he's like, oh, it got hard and then you wanted to leave. You know, I think that's something that's definitely going to be an eye-opener open to her when she actually has to have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
I think it's tough because Sutton has kind of always been the one who takes major leaps of faith when it comes to her career. You know, she did it when she went from being just like an administrative assistant to like an actual fashion assistant. She did it again with this influencer. And so she's definitely one to take leaps of faith. And so I want to believe that, oh, this is just another leap of faith for her. But I do agree with you girls in that I don't think she's fully thinking it through. She's just stressed in this moment right now, and she's seeing that things aren't working out for her here. Maybe they'll work out somewhere else.
Yeah. I agree. Someone who is hoping that things will work out elsewhere is Evan, considering now that he's separated. He comes into the picture talking to Jane, and then they want to meet Pinstripe. I feel like the way that Jane kind of threw this whole, you're meeting my brother, onto Pinstripe was very, very loose and just threw it on him too quick. Do you guys agree with that? I feel like it just kind of happened at breakfast. He didn't even have time to process it.
I don't think so. But that's just because of my cultural norms, where I'm like, oh.
But also, something that I found interesting to him, he's like, oh, so soon? It's like, no, you guys have been dating for forever.
Yeah.
I also think it's less weird. I don't know. Just me personally, I think it's less weird because you're meeting her brother, not her parents.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like meeting a brother, like a sibling, is a little more casual.
Yeah, that's true. I think that, sorry, he didn't say so soon, but he was like, oh, this is serious. And I just feel like that comment, it's like, but you guys have been dating for a pretty long time now. I think it's about time. In my head, I actually was thinking, wow, I can't believe he hasn't met her family
I think
yet.
her family doesn't live there, right?
Yeah, I think she said Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, but that makes sense. But still, it's like, that is a big deal, but also, like, this is the next step if you guys are going to.
I don't think it was quick.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's good.
And I don't think, like, I don't need to tell you a week ahead of time if you're meeting my sibling.
Yeah.
But also, I don't understand. I'm
His
only
reaction
child,
was just
so
kind
I'm
of
like,
His reaction was just kind of odd to me. I feel like I couldn't tell. It was like very hot and cold of whether he was excited or not. And then obviously it was awkward at breakfast. But like, but we see why later. But this still brings me back to the whole, what is Ryan hiding? He is hiding something. It's a secret. I mean, obviously our predictions, like we said, were completely off, but I'm just curious, like, does it still have to do with the cheating issue? Like, he clearly is in it for the long haul, considering he's going to be there for the mastectomy. Like, what is going on with him?
I love that you're not letting this go.
I will not. I will, like, seriously write a petition to figure out, because he was going to say something right when they were at that, like, sex club. He was going to say something before they ended up, you know, being with each other. So
And he was going to say something again.
Yes.
This past week.
So I'm
his
just
interview.
curious, like, what is the secret? And something that Jane brought up, which was a great point, is that, I mean, maybe it's not a great point, but something that she noticed was, if you're going to lie to me so easily about my brother, you know, and that, because I feel like if you're not good at lying, something like that, you could see it written all over your face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're uncomfortable about something and you just witnessed basically her brother, you thought he was cheating, and then you realize that he was separated, coming back to your significant other, they'd be able to know something was completely off, which she did notice. Did you guys find it as a flag that he was able to lie so easily to her?
Yeah, I did find that as a flag, but I also found out the flag that when Evan asked Pinstripe, like, wouldn't you keep a secret to what did he say?
Essentially, like, keep a secret.
To not hurt somebody
To not-
or something
right.
like that. And he
And
was like,
yeah.
So I'm like, what do you do?
There, again.
It's hidden in the
Hints
context.
are there.
Yeah, the hints are there. And I think what one of you guys brought this up, were like, oh, I think that seeing her brother relay the truth about them being separated, that this is seeing Pinstripe is like, okay, now if her brother can do something like that, I need to tell her the truth. And I'm just waiting and counting down to the moments that he's going to confess whatever it is he needs to confess.
Season finale.
I think this is definitely leading up to him having to tell her something, because, like you were saying, Allie, he's seeing his brother, who, honestly, I didn't think the episode was going to be resolved in him actually telling Jane. I thought this was going to be something that goes on and cause issues in their relationship. But I mean, it still kind of did, because now you can tell Jane is very hesitant because of how easy it is for Ryan to lie to her, and it's just something else that's starting to preoccupy her mind.
Yeah, I agree. I'm still kind of hung up on the whole, like, what would you do if you were in Ryan's situation? I feel like I would tell.
Tough.
It's tough because it's not your place to say, but at the same time, if you know the person's going to get mad at you for not telling you first, like, it would be kind of one of those things where I feel like you would have to be like, listen, I know something that happened to your brother tonight. He told me out of respect not to tell you. So I'm just letting you know, like, there's information that's coming your way, but I am not the person to tell you. I feel like you need to, like, maybe warn them.
Mention it.
Yeah, mention it, so then it's not like you're hiding anything. You're like, listen, I was put in a really awkward and compromising position tonight by your brother, and he's going to come forth and tell you something. So please be on the lookout for that, and don't be upset for me that I'm not telling you, but it's not my place to say.
Yeah.
I think
like,
that's
like they say, communication is key
Right.
in every single relationship. So at least mention it, you know,
Right,
warn them, let them know.
Yeah. Because then it kind of makes you think, and like what Jane started thinking, like, well, if you can lie about this, what else are you lying about?
I think that's a really good way
He
to
is lying
put
about
it.
something.
That's a really good way to put it, Allie, though, because it's like, it is such one of those difficult situations where you don't want to say something if it's not your place to say, but at the same time, you don't want someone to come back at you and say, oh, you're lying.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, that's going to cause so many other issues, but it's such a difficult position. It's like, okay, well, what do I do?
Right.
So I think the idea of, warning them or saying like, hey, talk to your brother about something, or talk to whoever is, hiding something from you.
Yeah. That's for them to tell you, but
Yeah.
I'm letting you know there is information coming your way. But yeah, I think he just went about that. Considering their past, he went about that in the wrong way, I think. Moving on to Jacqueline and her new love interest, Miles. This is hot and heavy.
Yeah.
Moving really quickly.
Really quickly.
She moved on. No waiting.
This is spicy.
I know.
Yeah, because she's just separated from her husband. He hasn't done any, from what we know, he hasn't done anything bad in their relationship.
Yes, he has. He's been posting pictures with that woman.
Yeah, but that was like a business partner. But we don't know if he's cheated or anything. They're just separated. But I think
Karla thinks that there's always something going on here.
No, wait. They're not officially separated. It's just separated by distance, correct?
They're not legally separated.
Right, but they're just kind of letting each other live their lives.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I just find this so interesting because it's are you going to regret this? Is he going to come back totally being ready to dive back into the relationship? And how do you move on from that?
You could go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, I think it's tough for Jacqueline because I think that even if, they have some time apart and they're not going to necessarily be at each other's throats, kind of or at least, just frustrated with each other as they were before he left. I think both of them at this point, I think it's very much so that the relationship is over and that if they do come back, they're going to come back realizing they can have a more amicable relationship and they'll move on. Yeah, move on.
I actually think the complete opposite.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that, and this is only because of what we've seen throughout the show and just Jacqueline in general. I think that she learns a lot through experience, and whenever you tell her to do something, and if that's not what she wants to do, she's going to do the other thing. And I think that in relationships sometimes when you're oh, this is not working out, and then you go and you try it out with another person, in the beginning the spark is there and you're oh my gosh, this is awesome, but eventually she's gonna realize wait a minute, I have kids, I have a magazine, is this person gonna understand? Either it could go two ways where this guy is super understanding and he's oh yeah, I understand that you have to work late or you have to do this, or it could be come on, why are you not making time for us? So either I totally think that she's going to be well, why are you not being understanding? And she's going to realize what she's had her whole, all along, because you never know what you have until you lose it.
Yeah.
So I think that for her, and also probably for Ian, I think that by having this time apart and trying to see other people, they're going to realize, wow, we actually really did have it well, and we had a good relationship, but we just needed to make the time for each other. And I think that this is going to be, also, I think that they're all learning something about themselves within these relationships. And I think that she's not going to be left behind, and she's also going to learn something about herself in this relationship.
I think that's a great point. Well said.
I really like that.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great point. Moving on to Kat and Adina. So they are forced together because they are ready to make they're ready to come together and band together to make sure that they can put out what they want to. And Scarlett is stopping this from happening.
The past few episodes, obviously we're going to kind of get into the situation that they had to deal with, but I just feel the last few episodes has been their entire relationship over the past 4 seasons just sped up. It's, oh,
Yeah.
I like you. I don't trust you. Oh, I don't, like your lifestyle. Oh, we can't be friends. But
Yeah.
I still love you and I still want to be your friend. It's what do you guys want?
I think that Adina was always very closed off. And I think them talking about this cause that is near and dear to her heart and something that she went through and was traumatizing for her, I think that she's then going to open up more to Kat. And I think that this is what we needed in their relationship, because Adina was always a little closed off and was scared to kind of say her real feelings. And I'm wondering if this is something that Kat's then going to be this is what I've been I've been needing to know this about you. I didn't know. And I feel this might cause them to have a stronger friendship and be able to build upon that, because they can't deny that no matter what each other's doing, they want to be involved. They want to make sure. Not only is it talking about something that is a very, very touching subject and something terrible that they want to make sure that they can get the word out on, which is something that they do quite frequently, whether it's art, whether it's like Kat finding social media ways to put a stop to something terrible. I just think this is something in their relationship that they can then both appreciate each other and not really feel that weird void, before it was like, now I don't like you, and then before it was kind of this awkward. I think this is going to make them mend as a friendship. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I hope that this leads to a friendship. I'm kind of over the relationship now.
Yeah.
If I'm totally honest with you guys. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the relationship, we've just seen it too back and forth over the years. And I like the idea, if they can maintain a friendship, I like the idea if they can grow emotionally together, kind of like you were saying, Allie, with Adina being able to open up. Because, she was very closed off. And there was so much that Kat felt like she was missing in the relationship because she felt like they didn't really know each other. And so I hope that they're able to grow emotionally into a very nice friendship. But I think as far as like a romantic relationship goes, I just think it's just too back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And I think that, it is very back and forth, but I think what they're working on right now and trying to figure out, why is Scarlett blocking this from happening? Like, they've taken out any reasons for this to not be able to proceed forward. So I really hope they figure, like, obviously they're going to, if we know anything about Kat, they're going to figure out how to be able to post this photo.
I think this is going to be the first issue that actually travels over to another episode, which I'm really excited to see.
Yeah.
Them kind of work on this for a longer period of time, where it doesn't get the result in one day.
Yeah, because it is something that's a larger thing that people don't really know or talk about. So
I think it's a very important issue that I'm happy that the episode touched upon, because I think kind of, it's something that I think people are aware of, even slightly. I think the thing that is shocking is to know that it's still it's still around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's crazy. But like we said, I think Kat and Adina are going to make this happen in Scarlett, which is something that they're both going to find,
Yeah. Which I don't know if we mentioned, but we are talking about the conversion therapy.
Yes. But yes, I think that is going to become more of a plot line for the both of them in next episode. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up this week's episode. If you guys, do you have any other last minute thoughts?
I was just going to say that I'm really proud of Alex for owning up to his manliness of him trying to be like, stay away from, I'm forgetting her name.
Alicia.
Yes, Alicia. And he's like, hey, you know what? Maybe I could give it a try. Good
That
job,
would be
Alex.
great. Yes.
I want to kind of piggyback off of that, because I think that it was great that Alex kind of took a step back and said, like, oh, I don't need to feel insecure about this anymore. I also like the fact that sometimes things just happen and you don't need to find reason in them, or it's like, if you tell yourself, we kind of saw this with Jane too, is like, you sometimes tell yourself, oh, if I ever have this situation, I'm going to deal with it this way. And I like how we're kind of seeing how, as you grow as a human being, that when you actually find yourself in those situations, you're a different person. So you're not going to always go with, what you once told yourself you're going to do or you're going to believe. And I really like how it's breaking down those barriers.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes we're so in our mind that we...
100%.
All the time.
All
it
the
was
time.
like Alex was so in his mind, and we were like, okay, Alex, just let it go.
Yeah.
It's not choice. Let it happen. Let destiny take over.
Yes, I love that. Alrighty, moving on to our special segment.
Yeah.
Veronica, take it away.
Of course. So every week on the show, we like to highlight a real life boss babe. And so this week's boss babe is Sarah Holloway. Now, she is someone who is very much like our girl Sutton in wanting to just kind of take leaps of faith. So Sarah, back in the day, was a lawyer, and she chose and she was able to successfully make the transition from lawyer to entrepreneur, and she started making her own line of matcha tea because she was working in Hong Kong. She liked the tea. She liked kind of the boost that it gave her, and she never went back to coffee, but when she went back to Australia, Australia, they didn't have that. So she decided to make her own. And so now she has this very successful line of matcha tea, and also created a the matcha milk bar, which is Australia's first plant-based cafe. And so, yeah, she was able to kind of, take this very successful lifestyle, very stable, might I just say very stable lifestyle, and she took a leap of faith to kind of pursue this new business, something that she even called a side hustle. She was able to turn that into a thriving business. And now she even has a podcast called Seize the Day. And it's kind of, she has that mindset of just like, find what you're passionate about and build your life around it. And I think this is so inspiring because so much of the time, we put ourselves in positions where we're thinking of stability. We're thinking of what's the best looking thing, or like, what's the best title and stuff like that. And you sometimes forget your passions and what you actually want to do. So I think it's very important to, be able to take what you're passionate about and also creating a career out of it. And I think she's done a great job of bringing those two together.
I love that. Awesome. I need to listen to that podcast now.
I know, me too. Seize the Day, you said, right?
Seize the Day.
Thanks for sharing. I love our Boss Babes section because there's so many amazing, powerful women out there, and they need to be highlighted.
Yes.
Especially, even if it's on our podcast or anywhere, we need to be talking about them. So thank you for that. Alrighty, let's do some predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
You know what? I'm going to say something very crazy. I do think that Sutton's going to go to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think, I think she is going to regret it. I think she's going to back out of it, but I think she's going to make the move. And then once she's there and maybe realizes that, all of her connections or all of her, maybe there was stuff that, kind of like you were saying, Karla, you don't know what you have until you lose it. I think she's going to realize that once she's there. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's going to back out of it before we see her go in the season finale.
I like that prediction because I think that she doesn't realize how good she has it at Scarlett, and Scarlett made her. So she's like, I have all these followers, but she only has them because she works at Scarlett. So once she's out of Scarlett, she would probably see a drop down within her engagement. And what do I want to say? I want to predict that, and this is predictions for you, Allie. I think that Pinstripe is going to tell Jane after he saw that
Can we please?
Evan was truthful with his sister, and the truth always comes out anyway, so he might as well tell her now before it's too late and there's no point of return. I really hate this prediction, and I don't really know why I'm going to say it, but I'm going to trust my gut. I actually don't think that Sutton and Richard are going to end up getting married. I do not see a wedding at the end of the season finale.
Like, at all?
Oh
my gosh.
I don't see it.
I know, that's a big deal.
Especially for a Sutter fan.
I am a 100% Sutter fan, but they when they were meeting with the wedding planner, they both have very different ideas of what they wanted the wedding to be. Sutton wanted 50 guests. Richard wants 300. The way that Sutton wants to do things is definitely not the way that Richard does things. So I just don't think that it's not going to be a back down from Sutton, but it might be a back down from Richard just because it's not the way that he does things. And I completely understand because I wouldn't do it.
Even if it's opposites attract.
Opposites attract, but you know what? Right now I'm feeling a lot like Richard, and I personally wouldn't do it. So that's why I'm going to trust my gut. Mm-hmm. And I think that Kat and Adina are probably going to get back together in an unfortunate way, and then it's going to be done forever.
Interesting. I think that Jacqueline's husband is going to come back and sooner than she thought, and kind of be very jarring for her in this newfound, I don't know, relationship, situationship, whatever it is with Miles. I think that she's going to be very jarred by having him there. And then, right now, it's out of sight, out of mind. He's not there. So it feels a lot easier to be able to date somebody. But I think that if he comes back, she's going to then feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do anymore. And then push Miles away for the time being to figure out, how does she do both? Is she okay with it? Where is she going to feel having both of them in the same city, and just kind of having to really face the fact that okay, my marriage is really ending. this thing with Miles, is it real? Are we going to progress? Like, is this just a situationship? Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see.
I like that.
But in the meantime, where can they find you on social media?
Hey everyone, you can find me, Veronica Valencia, on Twitter and Instagram at it's me, Veronica_V.
And hey guys, I'm Karla Beltran. You can follow me on Instagram at I am Karla Beltran.
Hey, Nasta here. Find me on Instagram at AllieGirl. And of course, follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. Love you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Ciao.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.